Hello and a warm welcome. You're watching India Tonight with me, Jude Sanat, and my colleague Shibani Garat joining in from our Mumbai studios. The day's discourse has been all about that race to appoint N. Chandrasekaran's successor at the Tata Group. And even as it continues, Tata Sons today adjourned its annual general meeting due to the lack of required quorum. In fact, my colleague Anurag Joshi, who's been tracking the story for days now, has filed a report on this. Take a look.
The annual general meeting of Tata Sons has been adjourned due to a lack of quorum. The quorum of Tata Sons could not be met as the joint representative of the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust were not present at the meeting. Sir Dorabji Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust are the majority shareholders of Tata Sons, and they own almost 52% equity stake. Together, the Tata Trust owns 66% equity stake in Tata Sons. The Tata Sons board will meet to decide about the next date for the AGM of the firm. The restrictions imposed by the Charity Commissioner on Sir Ratan Tata Trust in May have been a reason why both Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust were not able to appoint a nominee for the annual general meeting today. And this was following the Charity Commissioner's order in May that has barred Sir Ratan Tata Trust and from holding meetings and also taking any key decisions pending and the completion of an investigation. One of the key resolutions for today's AGM, which has been adjourned, was to seek reappointment of N. Chandrasekaran as a director of Tata Sons. Last week, N. Chandrasekaran had announced his decision not to seek a reappointment as the chairman of Tata Sons once his current term ends in February 2027.
Right. So what does this adjournment mean for Tata Sons' future? Who will step to the shoes of N. Chandrasekaran? Will the boardroom differences once again take center stage at Tata Sons? These are just some of the questions that come into focus as we track all of these developments. To discuss this, we are now joined in by Sriram Subramanian. He's a founder and MD in Govern. And we are also joined in by Shailesh Haribhakti. He's the chairman of Shailesh Haribhakti. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today on ET Now. First, I would like to go over to Mr. Sriram Subramanian. What does this adjournment mean for the future of Tata Sons?
Good evening. I think as such, it is not going to disrupt anything with the workings of Tata Sons immediately. But the key decision to be taken was one, the extension of or the reappointment of Mr. Chandrasekaran. That is just a nomination or by rotation, reappointment by rotation. Two is to decide or to appoint the committee or to validate the committee to start the succession planning process. If they had already discussed it, today was at the AGM, they could have probably tabled it and got an approval. So I think as such, from an AGM perspective, it's not going to interrupt Tata Sons working. So.
Right. Mr. Haribhakti, quickly coming over to you next. Now, help us understand something. With the Charity Commissioner's status quo order pretty much in place, how can the Sir Ratan Tata Trust and the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust now legally bypass this to jointly nominate a representative?
I don't know the grave detail of how the Charity Commissioner's order is going to affect the nomination to Tata Sons board. But my sense is that given, the way the quorum will be created, we'll have to see the memorandum and articles of association of Tata Sons to see how quorum can be met at an adjourned meeting where there are some difficulties in terms of nomination as we are now seeing. And that will have to operate to create the right quorum for the meeting.
Staying with you, sir, given the friction, is the board more likely to pivot to an internal operational veteran? What is the feel that you're getting? Like an internal operation veteran like TV Narendran, or seek an outside neutral candidate? Which direction do you think the committee will go to?
No, my sense is that they've already declared their intention to appoint a search committee. So I think that they will follow through, and there will be a search committee which will objectively decide the best candidate for the position.
Mr. Subramanian, I have to come back to you next. What does this do exactly as far as the Tata Group companies are concerned? Because what we are seeing right now is a semblance of a clear and present vacuum right at the top. Is that worrying in many ways? And if this vacuum does become bigger, is there an impact that is likely to be felt on the group companies purely from a shareholder perspective?
So firstly, no shareholder of the listed companies need to be worried because it doesn't directly impact the listed companies. Investors, of course, need to keep a lookout, but each of the listed companies have their own boards and strong management teams. That being said, Mr. Chandrasekaran also has his remaining tenure till February 2027. And being a professional, I would think that he is not going to renege on his day-to-day duties per se. I'm sure he's attending offices, he is undertaking all his tasks to the best of his ability, and I don't think he's going to slacken his pace. What the board of Tata Sons needs to do is quickly arrive at the successor. As Mr. Haribhakti said, they've already indicated that the search committee is in place. So the search committee's job is cut out. The faster they zero in on a successor, the easier it is going to be for a transition, a smoother transition, so that there is parallel, I would say, running, grooming in of the person who is going to take Chandrasekaran's place.
Right. Let's go over to Mr. Haribhakti and, if he can make us understand how long can the selection vacuum really persist before institutional investors again, panic. This is something that we saw happening last week and discounting Tata Group listed stocks.
No, until then, I don't think there is anything wrong with the leadership at Tata Sons. Mr. Chandrasekaran will continue at full clip till February 27th. So there is no need for any investor to panic or take any adverse view.
No, Mr. Haribhakti, I'm sure that question was more along the lines of there was definitely some stocks that were tanking last week. So, the question is more from that perspective. How long can the selection vacuum last really before institutional investors pretty much lose confidence?
No, that was an immediate reaction, but I think they will come back based on their inherent strength.
Right. Moving over to you, what legal or financial penalties do, these Tata Sons director face if, the regulatory deadline for holding AGM lapses during this particular adjournment? Help us understand that, Mr. Subramanian.
So there's a provision in the Companies Act where filing with the MCA, one can get an extension till December at the least. So they have time till December 31st of this year to hold the AGM. So I am sure they would file it with the MCA and get a quick approval. And there is a legal provision for that. So I don't think there's any penalty or this one that needs to be paid at all.
Mr. Subramanian, my question is more of a philosophical nature next. Amid all the action that we've been seeing over the last few days now, one can't quite help but wonder how, when it comes to Tata Sons, the issue of succession, picking a successor, the change of guard has always been a rather rocky process. It's seldom seen, the semblance of a smooth transition that one would like to associate with corporate governance and a change of guard, really. I mean, when Mr. Cyrus Mistry took over, it was being hailed as, as a big, the onset of a new era. But then the acrimony that followed was for all to see. Mr. N. Chandrasekaran also taking over took over at what was a rather challenging time for the company. And now you're seeing this election vacuum really, even as a lot of uncertainty plays out, going all the way back to Mr. N. Chandrasekaran's resignation in the first place. How and why is this pretty much, the case when it comes to Tata itself? What plagues the group's succession?
You hit the nail on its head, so to say. One has to fault Mr. Ratan Tata, God bless his soul, but unfortunately, people held him on a pedestal. There was a hagiography around him. So unfortunately, he has not been able to, when he was alive, ensure that there is a new chairman of the Tata Trusts who has the confidence of all stakeholders involved. Only after his departure has Mr. Noel Tata been made the chairman of the Tata Trust. So that is very unfortunate. One has to always be conscious that one has to have a transition much before one departs the earth. Unfortunately, Mr. Ratan Tata, though he was with failing health, etc., he continued to hold on to his position. He continued to sort of call the shots, so to say, and did not ensure that there is someone taking over his place while he existed. That is, I think, the bugbear that has led to this current, I would say, battle for power, battle for, I would say, prominence within the group. And that has led to this uncertainty over the past 1 year, 1 odd years since Mr. Ratan Tata passed away.
Mr. Haribhakti, over to you. Is this friction also a sign of a deeper permanent power struggle within the trust following the passing of Ratan Tata?
Well, after any major event like that, there is bound to be a little bit of reorganization of the way leadership works. And I think this is a symptom of that reset, if you like. That's the way that I would characterize it. That yes, there is a leadership change that is quite obvious. Mr. Noel Tata is now the de jure and the de facto face of the group, and therefore he will sort of assert his point of view.
Mr. Subramanian, just coming back to you for a bit, you make a very valid point there when you perhaps, speculate if Mr. Ratan Tata perhaps did not do his best when it came to succession planning. So looking ahead now, and I know this is very hypothetical, at least at this time and place, but what do you think should be done differently as Tata Sons moving forward, involving whoever the next chairman is, when it comes to setting a clear path for succession for generations that are yet to come, and for, chairmanship positions that may yet see its time coming to pass? Is there a playbook that you feel the Tata Group and Tata Sons specifically should follow when it comes to succession planning that hasn't quite been adhered to in the recent past?
I don't think there is one playbook per se here, but of course they need to act post haste in finding the successor, in ensuring that there's at least this 6 months of transition as far as Tata Sons goes. Two is they need to put in place a person who has the trust and shares the same vision as the Tata Trust itself. There has to be some sort of, I would say, agreement or understanding between Tata Sons and the two key trusts and the trustees thereof. Obviously, there are also some trustees who are fighting amongst one another. Hopefully, that will get sorted out. Another matter is that this issue of succession is not just with Tata Group itself. Unfortunately, in corporate India, everyone pays lip service. And though there's a regulatory mandate that all listed companies need to have a succession plan in place, nobody has it in the right spirit. Promoters tend to hang on to their shoes, so to say, till the very last minute. And unfortunately, there is no smooth transition, and there is always a opportunity for strife when a new leader takes over.
There is always an opportunity for strife. But one last question before we wrap up this conversation. Mr. Haribhakti, also, does Noel Tata's role as the chairman of Tata Trust create a structural conflict of interest if he is also considered for Tata Sons chairperson role?
My personal view, and I don't know the inner workings of the group as well, because I'm just an objective outside observer. I think they will keep the distinction between the chairman of the trust and the chairman of Tata Sons.
Well, the long and short of it is simply this. There's a long road ahead for Tata Sons when it comes to picking that successor, and one can only hope it wraps it up in the closest possible timeline. But on that note, Mr. Haribhakti, sir, thank you so much for joining us, on the broadcast today. Good to have you both speaking with us on the succession battle within Tata Sons itself. Mr. Subramanian as well, thank you so much for joining us. And on that note, we'll slip into a short break, but there's more coming on the other side. So keep staying tuned to ET Now.